I've been with Kita now since 2010. I think we started Kita 2010 when we used to do our madness run, trying to establish Kita, running from Kaduna, Jos, Kano, even to Abuja, trying to set up our offices in those towns. Kita is something that is in our hearts and in my heart. The fundamental principles of Kita is that of education through soccer, impact on the community by Kita. So far since we started Kita, we have made tremendous impact in the lives of children. Kano, where we established a world-class computer center in the last 5 years that you couldn't even find in Kano. That center was used to train our children ICT immediately after their training programs, in the morning, in the evening. And we also had course to establish the same center in Kaduna at the Ministry of Youth and Sport at the Murtala Square. At this place, we opened a center. We trained the staff of the ministry as an impact to our immediate environment. In Jos, we didn't open an ICT center, but of course, we had the Rush teams training in that place. And in all these 3 centers that I have mentioned, we have given the children that are in that place training kits that I cannot even remember to put a dollar value on what we have given out. Surprisingly, you will just walk through one of these cities and you will just see a Rush t-shirt somewhere in the city of either Kano, Kaduna, or Jos. And you'll be wondering, how did Rush get to any of these cities? It is through the activities of Kita and Rush in Nigeria. Thus far, that's what we have done. But because of the crisis in Nigeria, we have had to consolidate and take stock of what we have done and look at the future. And we came up with the idea that, look, we need to have a permanent structure where there cannot be distraction. And so we decided to move to Kwai in Jaba local government of Kaduna State, where currently the structure is almost at completing stage for us to start our secondary school, JSS1, hopefully by September 2018. And having that place now would have solved all the problems that we had in Kano, Kaduna, and Jos, because we are going to have residential children staying there, pursuing their academic activities while playing soccer in campus or on campus. I think this is what Kita has done so far, a little bit about what Kita has done in Nigeria. The educational sector in Nigeria, and by extension, especially Kaduna State, has been bastardized. You see a lot of kids, schools are not functioning well, children do not have good facilities to study. In fact, in the last 3 years, if there is anything you want to call schools, it's not in Kaduna State. So it is on that basis that we have taken the bull by the horn and are doing everything possible to ensure that children get the best of all education that they deserve. It's been a challenge. but we are sure and we are focused that we will meet our goal. At Kita School here in Kwai is a place where you can find education at an environment that you cannot compare anywhere in this state. Every year our government roll out budgets, and in this budget billions and trillions of figures are rolled out at funding for educational programs in our country and in our state. But at the end of the day, you find children roaming the street, they are not in school. And these budgets are claimed. Money is being spent. Nobody is made to account for these monies, either at the federal or even at the state level. Until recently, with this so-called fight against corruption that people are talking about government implementation of the budget. But it is not even reaching the common man. Nobody is seeing the impact of this fight against corruption on the educational sector because nobody is being called upon to account for monies that is spent on education that has no result.
On Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez.
We turn now to Nigeria, where satellite images and witness accounts have emerged of what Amnesty International calls the catastrophic destruction from a massacre in northern Nigeria.
Boko Haram is in Hausa. That is the Hausa language, which means Western education, no way. We don't need it. And, well, for quite some years now, this particular group have grown to a very big organization, a terrorist organization. Even with them around, we still feel education is a very, very important tool. And so the terrorist group are not stopping us from pursuing the education that we need. Well, based on Kita's vision and mission, we are out to see that we accommodate everyone in this country. You could be a Hausa, you could be a Yoruba, you could be a Muslim, you could be a Christian, you could even be a traditionalist. You'll be welcome to Kita. Why? It's because our focus is to see that we educate these young ones and to make sure that the principles that we impart in them will be principles that they can be able to use effectively in their society when they leave Kita. And so we also want to make sure that morality is the backbone of Kita. When you have moral principles, I believe wherever you go, wherever you are, you will impart the knowledge that you receive in Kita.
The presence of this project here, in fact, it's going to be an eye-opener and a development. Youth as it were have been left behind and relegated in terms of structures and things like this. And in fact, it will be a very big development. Because I know with the talents and the kind of molding education and the skills that will be acquired here will go a long way to opening up this place. In fact, this community has been yearning for a project like this, and we thank the Kato very much for this vision. We thank them very much for the vision to bring up a very, very, very big project like this here. We are happy, and I believe the youth, for the very first time that the community heard about the project like this, in fact, everywhere jubilating and said, may God bless the person who must have thought about this thing to bring here. And not only blessed him, but blessed him also with the resources that this place will come to fruition.
Well, I am the district secretary. By the time I heard about this project, in fact, I was very, very happy. Because some of our youth, they like this kind of project, most especially the sports. Look at this here, it's a very big project, and it's a project that we have never seen it in our area. So we look at it as a very project that if our children, I mean all our children will benefit there. That is why we give the support for the project. And we're also thanking the person who bring this project, the Kato family. We believe that God will bless them, and those who are helping him there, they will also get their own awards in heaven. So I believe the project, everybody will benefit from the project. Not only benefiting, even our children will also come and talk about this project one day.
Kato International Training Academy, KITA, started out as a dream. In 2009, when I went back to Nigeria, I saw the conditions that kids were in. I saw the condition of education, and I thought we're probably capable of doing better than that. So rather than sit there and stand and complain, I decided I would try to do something about it. So I came back to the States, organized my thoughts, thought, okay, what are the two things that I'm most passionate about? And then two of them are soccer and education. So I thought, okay, is there anything we can do in that light to help the kids in Nigeria? Thus came the idea of KITA, Kato International Training Academy. And started out just as a dream. I started out by going to Nigeria and establishing it as a non-governmental organization, NGO. Registered it, came back to the States, registered it as a non-profit at our 501c3 status, and thus began the organization. Mr. Lucoro, who you have met through this video, is the one other person that really believed in what I was trying to do. And so we started the process of trying to put this thing together. Along the way, we have had several missteps, we've had several mistakes, we've had people actually steal from us, we've had material that was taken from us, and you know, we're not rich or anything like that, but we try to raise as much money as we could to try and accomplish these things, and we've had some challenges with our finances and all the other things. And then we have Boko Haram that was thrown in there in the mix, and so it's really just been a long road, but we kept persisting in it because we truly believed in what we were doing. And along the way, as you have heard from previously from Mr. Lucoro, it has been a very long journey. And it was just a dream, and one step at a time. We just seemed to be moving forward. Whenever we meet a roadblock, it just seemed like God would provide a way out, and so we just kept taking the next step and next step. And so now we've gotten to the point where our infrastructure is in place, and we are fairly comfortable that we can begin school in September. We have several other challenges going forward, of course, financially. We still don't have all the buildings that we need on campus, so that is something that we're going to continue to try to develop. We are hoping to bring in 30 to 35 kids at our first in September. So we have a bunch of trials that are going to happen before then in different cities. And then we're going to invite some kids over, hopefully in the end of June, that are going to come and stay on campus. And they are going to, they're going to train, and we are going to put them through some testing and all of that stuff. And then out of those 60 kids, we are going to choose 30 to 35 kids who we will invite back to begin school in September. Now, we realize we are not a very big organization, and we have there's a lot of need, so there's no way we're going to be able to meet everybody's needs, but we're going to try to do the best that we can with that. We have a dormitory, which you have seen through the video. That is something that we have worked on, and I think we're ready to go. So we are really very excited of where we're at. We cannot believe that God has led us to this point. It has been a struggle. It has been a fight. It has a lot of frustrations along the way, and but we really look forward to opening the campus. We still have a lot of needs. Right now, we are talking about a staff. We are starting to assemble the staff, and we need to be able to fund that. It is estimated we're probably going to need about $10,000. Anywhere between $7,000 to $10,000 a month for payroll and also for operations. So that is a challenge that we are having right now and will continue to have. But overall, very excited about it. I would have never dreamt. I mean, it was a dream. To be at this stage right now, we are just absolutely delighted and look forward to really making an impact. Nigeria is a very, very hard place to do business. It's a very tough environment. Nothing is provided for you. We had to, for everything from water, we had to actually dig our own well and what they call a borehole, and basically get our water from that. We had to build our own blocks from scratch, partly because we didn't want to buy blocks that were kind of watered down. So we wanted to make sure we controlled that because we wanted to make sure all of our buildings were safe. We are extremely excited and looking forward to having our first 30 students on campus. The plan is this year we are going to bring 30 to 35 kids on campus, and they will be entering what is known as JSS1, which is equivalent to about an 8th grade here in the States. Next year they will go to JSS2, and we will bring in another 30 kids that are going to be for the next set. So then we'll have 60 kids on campus, and then the next year we'll have 90 kids, and so on, until we have a full-blown high school all the way through. One of the things we are really important is the project itself. We have hired the locals to do most of the work, and as a result they have been able to get some earnings so that they can support their families. We think this is important in the community, and it also gets buy-in from the community itself. That's been a huge part. We have a farm that we have about, I believe we have 35 hectares that we are going to be farming. And so in that way, we are also going to be employing some locals to help with the farm and kind of try and keep the economy rolling in that particular area. Not only that, but I think that that it allows the community to also see the benefits that this organization is actually bringing to them, not only in schooling, but also in other areas. So we are very excited. We are looking for ways to actually keep this sustaining. This is one of the key things that I was very passionate about, is the thing of being able to sustain. There's so many projects that come into Africa, but they are not sustainable, and in a couple of years they just go away. We're hoping that we are going to be leaving a legacy, and that the building itself will continue to maintain and sustain itself.